You lied today, probably before you even had breakfast. I'm fine. Almost there. I didn't see your message. I was just about to do that. You didn't think about it. You didn't plan it. It came out of your mouth the same way breathing comes out of your lungs, automatically, effortlessly, without a single conscious decision. Lying is considered one of the worst things a person can do. Every major religion condemns it. Every legal system punishes it. Parents spend years teaching children not to do it, and yet the average person lies between 1 and 3 times every single day. Conservative estimates, some researchers put it higher. You were not taught to lie. You were not corrupted into it. You were built for it, because lying is not simple, not even close. To tell a lie, it has to construct a false version of reality, track which version the other person currently believes, and then deliver the false version convincingly enough that they don't notice the switch. All of that in under a second, without being asked. The fact that you can do this at all is not a moral failure. It is one of the most sophisticated cognitive achievements in the history of life on Earth. So where did it come from? Let's start at the beginning. Deception in nature is ancient, far older than humans, far older than mammals. The orchid mantis looks exactly like a flower. It sits perfectly still and waits for insects to land on it looking for nectar. That is deception, pure, elegant, and completely automatic. The mimic octopus can impersonate over 15 different species. Even among primates, deception exists. Franz de Waal at Emory University spent decades documenting this behavior. None of these animals are lying. Deception and lying are not the same thing. The orchid mantis is not lying. It has no awareness that it looks like a flower. It has no model of what the insect believes. Even the chimpanzee suppressing its excitement calls is not lying in the full sense. It is manipulating behavior. It is not manipulating belief. True lying requires something far more demanding. It requires theory of mind. Theory of mind is the ability to understand that other people have minds, that they have beliefs, desires, and knowledge that are separate from your own, and that you can deliberately plant a false belief in their mind that they will then act on as if it were true. It sounds obvious when you say it out loud. Of course, other people have minds. But this understanding is not obvious. It is not automatic. It is not present at birth. And in the entire animal kingdom, full theory of mind appears to exist in only one species: us. The test that revealed this is called the false belief task. A child watches a puppet place a marble in a box. The puppet leaves the room. Another puppet moves the marble to a different location. The child is asked, where will the puppet look for the marble? Children under 4 years old almost universally get this wrong. They cannot yet separate what they know from what the puppet knows. Their theory of mind is not yet online. Children over 4 years old almost universally get it right. Something shifts in the developing brain between ages 3 and 5. The child suddenly understands that another mind can hold a belief that is false. And the moment a child truly understands that, they start lying. Not because they were taught to, not because they saw someone do it, because the cognitive machinery that makes lying possible has just come online, and the brain immediately begins using it. Developmental psychologist Kang Lee at the University of Toronto has spent over 2 decades studying exactly this transition. His research team ran experiments with children of different ages, leaving them alone in a room with a toy they weren't supposed to peek at, then asking them directly whether they looked. Children under 2 almost never lie. They lack the cognitive architecture. Children at 3 start attempting lies but fail badly. By age 4 to 5, the lies become coherent, sustained, internally consistent. By age 6, most children are lying with a sophistication that would be impressive, if it weren't so alarming. Lee's conclusion was stark. The development of lying in children is not a sign of moral corruption. It is a reliable indicator of healthy cognitive development. Children who develop theory of mind on schedule begin lying on schedule. Children with delayed theory of mind development lie significantly less, not because they are more honest, but because the cognitive machinery required simply hasn't developed in the same way. Lying tracks brain development almost perfectly. If theory of mind is what enables lying, the question becomes, when did theory of mind appear in our evolutionary history? The leading answer comes from a theory called the social brain hypothesis. Dunbar's argument was that the human brain did not get large because of environmental challenges. It grew to manage other people. Living in large, complex social groups requires an extraordinary amount of cognitive overhead. You have to track who is allied with whom, who owes whom a favor, who is likely to betray you, what your rival is thinking right now, what your ally believed yesterday versus what they believe today. Dunbar found a direct correlation across primate species between the size of the neocortex and the average social group size. Humans have by far the largest neocortex relative to brain size of any primate, and we live in by far the largest and most complex social groups. The brain grew to handle the social world, what people know, what they don't know, what you want them to believe, what you need to hide. In other words, the human brain evolved partly as a lying machine. Not exclusively, not primarily, but the same cognitive expansion that gave us language, planning, art, and culture also gave us the ability to construct and sustain false realities. The two developments are inseparable. You cannot have one without the other. Michael Tomasello at the Max Planck Institute spent decades comparing human children with great apes on social cognition tasks. His conclusion was that the gap between humans and our closest relatives is not in raw intelligence. Chimpanzees can solve physical problems at roughly the same level as human toddlers. The gap is in social cognition, in the ability to read, model, and manipulate the mental states of others. That gap, Tomasello argued, is what made human culture possible. Shared understanding, collaboration, language, the ability to teach, to learn, to transmit knowledge across generations. All of it rests on the ability to model another mind accurately, and the dark mirror of that ability is lying. Every lie you tell requires you to run a precise simulation of another person's mind, to know what they believe right now, to know what information would change that belief, and to deliver that information in a way that doesn't trigger their detection systems. That is not a simple thing. That is a profound thing. The last lie you told, even the small one, even "I'm fine" to someone who asked how you were, required your brain to model their expectations, calculate the gap between truth and what they could handle, and construct a seamless alternative in under a second without thinking. Your brain runs this process so effortlessly that you barely register it as a cognitive act at all. But it is. It is one of the most complex things a mind can do, and it appears nowhere else in nature with the same depth, the same flexibility, or the same sophistication. We did not become liars because we became corrupt. We became liars because we became intelligent. The capacity for deception and the capacity for empathy, for language, for culture, for everything that makes human civilization possible, they all grew from the same root: the ability to hold another mind inside your own, to know what someone else knows, to feel what someone else feels. And yes, occasionally, to use that knowledge to make them believe something that isn't true. Next time you catch yourself in a small, automatic lie, and you will, probably before the day's out, don't feel bad about it. Feel strange about it. Because what just happened in your brain is the same thing that built every friendship, every language, every story ever told. You modeled another mind. And for one brief moment, You ran it. Next time you look in the mirror, don't see a liar. See the only animal on Earth that can hold another mind inside its own, and has been doing it every single day without even knowing.